Okay, hello everyone and welcome back. So a couple days ago I was just surfing the web, reading the news, and one thing led to another. Google just suggested this article to me, which basically says that the first gaming PC motherboard made with entirely Chinese tech, which you can buy for $700. And this is the image of the board, and it got a lot of media coverage. As you can see, they are saying Beijing Jite Intelligent Technology. They're reporting that GM7 2602-2 motherboard is using the standard mini-itx, and it is developed using ARM CPU, and it is entirely made with Chinese technology with no foreign component or help. And the CPU is the feiteng D2000 with 8 core, which is obviously going to be ARM. Yes, it's ARM architecture. So yeah, I saw this. And then another article, entirely made in China, the first gaming PC motherboard, and again the same things, and that it also uses a PCIe 16X slot and USB 3 ports. So it was really interesting to me, and I just wanted to know more about it. Then there are more articles. This is the board, GM7 2602-2, and the first Chinese motherboard with 32 gigabytes of RAM. And yeah, so that's the photo. Feiteng 2000 2.3 gigahertz CPU, another photo 2.3 gigahertz CPU, and yeah, I can't read, but the English part, yeah, there's a gigabit Ethernet, I assume that's the Ethernet, 12 volt DC as a power supply, and the operating temperature of -40 Celsius to +80 Celsius, and so on. So yeah, PCIe 3, that is very important because I need to really test that. I want to see that. So yeah, I saw this, and then there's some more information, U-boot, UEFI. So it looks like they developed everything from scratch. Yeah, so these are more specs: PCIe 3, X16, and one for M.2 slot, and mini PCIe slot, and ATX DC 12 volt power supply. And yeah, this is all I could find. The weird thing is, when you go to you try to buy this, you cannot. You can go, it should be somewhere now in the video visible, somewhere in this corner. So basically, you go to JD.com and you look at the product page, it immediately kicks you to log in, and it tells you that they don't want foreigner to buy this. They wanted to keep it in China. You cannot buy it from outside China, and JD, makes it near impossible to order. It's not in AliExpress, it's nowhere else. I just could not find it anywhere to buy. So I took it as a challenge, and one thing led to another, let's just say, and let me show you what I got. This. Yeah, it just arrived like this. So you see the fancy photos and everything in the website, but literally this is how it arrived. So GitStar is the company everyone's talking about, embedded industrial. They have a lot of industrial computers, but this is the first. I don't know if they claimed it or the media claimed it as a gaming computer. Whatever it is, they are claiming it as a gaming computer. So we are going to obviously test that, and yeah, no text or nothing. So simple box, and I am going to open it. I'm super excited, and there was no seal or anything. I have to mention that as well. I didn't touch it, I didn't open it, just this is how it arrived. So we are going to open that. Okay, all right, so we got the product certificate, we got something that I can't read Chinese, and the SATA 2, no, just one SATA cable. Okay, that's it, nothing else in here. Okay, that's wow, that was underwhelming, but okay, there you go. The motherboard that's evading everybody. I got it, can't evade me. All right, so this is the motherboard. Let me clean up here, and let me open this up quickly. Just I want to make sure I'm not missing anything. This is probably certificate of testing. Yeah, QA passed. And this is something, I don't know. I will try to check that later. Yeah, and then a regular just SATA cable. So there was nothing else. There are two models of this that you can order. You can order one with the CPU and the CPU cooler pre-populated, and the RAM 32 gig, that's max it supports. And yeah, this is what you get. So this is comes with a CMOS battery and two to 16 gigabytes of RAM. The feiteng D2000 CPU should be underneath here. So let's take a look at this thing. Okay, so as in terms of I/O, you have the audio microphone jack, two 1 gigabit Ethernet ports, two USB 3 ports, HDMI 2.0, VGA, and DC jack. 12 volt. So I don't even know. There's, as you can see in the box, there is no manual, no documentation. So I am kind of going to have to brute force my way around this. I don't know. It's just even the power supply thing. I see another one in here. I might be able to use this, but if it causes fireworks, well, at least I tried. So I'm going to check that. And I see that there's a PCIe slot in here. So and standoff is already installed. And there's another one here. Probably you can install, you know, small another SSD or maybe Wi-Fi card, something like that, like laptop cards. Okay, this is already inside. And I'm going to also take a look at this under microscope. I want to confirm, right? They are saying this is made entirely with the Chinese components. I am going to look at every single IC under a microscope just to confirm that and see if there is any truth to that. And weirdly enough, the PCIe slot is upside down in here. I don't know if you can see it on the camera. Yeah, it's like here. So you basically plug the graphics card in this way. So yeah, this is how it is. Okay, and these are the I/O ports. Yeah, so backside, well, nothing special. I'm happy that they already installed the cooler because I don't know if it's not anything standard. So yeah, it's installed already. This one, I don't even know what that is. If somebody knows, I'm going to Google it. I don't know. It doesn't look like a SIM card slot. It's 6-pin and it says CON. So it's probably connection of some sort, but for what? I don't know yet. So we are going to take a look at the motherboard under microscope. So let's just do that. Okay, so before I go to the microscope, I just wanted to show you, I took this off and I didn't touch it. This is how it came. So there are this flimsy, oh my God, terrible. Yeah, that sucks. I'm gonna replace that. Okay, that's terrible. So let me remove this thing because I want to reveal the CPU. Okay, there you go. So phytium, I guess that's how you read it, D2000, and this is phytium X100, and this is exactly what is being mentioned in the articles everywhere, right? GM7260202. So this is the exact model everybody's talking about. I don't know what this one is, but I'm going to take a look at that. Oh, look at that. It opens. Oh, all right. So this one opens like that. Maybe this is the BIOS chip, maybe? Yeah, anyway, let's go take a look at everything under microscope. Let's go. Okay, so we are under microscope right now. I'm starting from the top left corner, I guess, where that weird power supply is, and also where the ATX, I guess, power supply port is. I'm gonna check that. So once we start, first thing we see here is from Lantium Semiconductor, and it's from China. So this is LT8711V, and this is a VGA converter with audio capabilities. So far so good. We slide, so this is CR1220 battery for CMOS. We go further and we get this one. This one is LT8711EH and -C. So this one is also from Lantium Semiconductor from China again, and this is DPI 1.2 to HDMI 2 converter chip. So that's also so far Chinese. And if we go further, we see this one. Okay, so Motorcom. So this is YT8521SC. This is 1 gigabit per second Ethernet transceiver. So it's sitting also right next to the Ethernet jack. This is the Ethernet jack. And there's same thing here again, and next to the Ethernet jack as well. So far again, that company Motorcom is also headquartered in China. So let's keep going. Okay, what is that? So that one is ES8388 and it says NBD0LS62. So that's the low power stereo audio codec with the headphone amplifier. And that one is from Everest Semiconductor, and also it's China, and it's sitting right next to the audio jack port. So yeah, makes sense. I go further down. Let's look at that. These are the controllers for the PCIe one. Okay, so this one is AU5411A. So this is actually from Aura Semiconductor in India. So got him. I'm kidding, but yeah, to be very honest, this is Indian chip. This one in particular, from what I can tell, it's not in Chinese. And from what I can tell, this is from Aura Semiconductor, and headquarters is in India. It's an Indian chip, and this is used as a low jitter buffer, basically like 2.1 gigahertz clock and crystal for the CPU. I think there are like two of it. So yeah, this is this way and this is this way, up, sideways. So yeah, this one is Indian. It's not Chinese. If I'm wrong, let me know. But from what I can tell, this one is not Chinese. If we keep going, this one is UM3232EEUE. But long story short, this is RS232 transceiver. So by the way, there are like RS232 transceiver, RS485 and CAN transceiver pins in here. So I know it's gaming computer, but yeah, they still have the stuff for RS232 and industrial computers, and maybe someone uses that for other stuff as well. So there's nothing else. Then there is the label, and let me flip the board. Okay, so this one we already read it. So Feiteng D2000, and the other one is Feiteng X100. If we go down, this one was weird to me. Let me show you. So this one is the CXDB55CCAMMK. This is LPDDR4 32 gigabit RAM, and there are like two of it. So one in here, one in there. I think, I'm again not sure, because there is absolutely no documentation, anything about anything in this motherboard. I think these two, like this and this, are RAM chips for the graphic processor. So yeah, there is one graphical processor on board that's also Chinese. So I think these two boards are the RAMs used by the graphical processor. So let's keep going. I'm looking for chips here. Okay, Lontium again. So that's Chinese already, we know. So Lontium LT7911D. So that's dual port DSI CSI with audio. So that's audio recording, probably right next to these pins. I think that's like the case audio pin. I can't even plug it into any case because there is no documentation. I don't know what these pins stand for, what I can use those for. So there is no documentation. I looked online, or I couldn't find it. If I find it, I will update you guys, but so far nothing. So, oh, this is the buzzer, so speaker, whatever you want to call it, that's there. Okay, so 3 SIT 1040 chips. So these three are high-speed CAN transceiver. This is from Seedcore Hunan Silicon, and that's also Chinese, so that's fine. Yeah, I don't see any more IC on this side. I'm flipping it over. On the other side, I see, let me go, okay, not this side. And this side, I see some ICs. Okay, let's look at it. All right, so 92212. So that one, I am not sure. I will come back to that. There is one big one in here. So this is EF2L15LG100B. So this is EF2 series FPGA chip, basically, from a company called Dedi Prague. So DEDI Prague. I don't know how to, I'm sorry about if I'm butchering every single pronunciation. So yeah, this is an FPGA chip, and it contains basically 546 kilo DRAM bits. So in FPGA, that's basically block RAM, right? So random access memory, and that's used for data storage stuff. So there's 81 user I/O in this one, and 2 ADC, analog digital converters, 1500 DFFs. So DFF, the D-type flip-flops, that's for FPGA, and 3 32K ERAM. Anyway, the interesting thing is this chip is Taiwanese. So I don't want to start a political discussion here, but yeah, that's Taiwanese. Let's leave it at that. Once we go further down, this is chip analog, and this is CA IS3763LN. So this is a 6-channel digital isolator. So it's near the power stuff, so it's power chip, and it's next to this PCIe pins, so I think it's for that. And then there is this one. Why I'm bad at this. So RS0108, that is 8-bit bidirectional voltage regulator. So isolator, regulator, I think it's protection for the PCIe, but again, I don't know, just I'm guessing at this point. Yeah, that's it. There are no other chips on this. There is a QR code. Don't scan it. Basically, don't scan any QR code that you see randomly. All right. We got this, and yeah, let's go back and try to power this on. Let's go. Okay, so I put back everything together and installed everything back, the RAM and the heatsink and everything, and fan. So what I brought also a bunch of NVMe SSDs, regular, full-size SATA SSDs, and brand new ones and old ones. Yeah, so what I thought was, I don't know what to use here for the audio barrel, the DC jack, right? You know, I might insert some 12 volt, but it might not have efficient enough wattage. So instead of that, this suspiciously looks like the half CPU from the CPU connector from the power supply. So in case I cause problems, I don't want to use a brand new power supply. So I got this for actually one of my old computer builds. I want to build the Windows 98 machine basically. So I don't care for it, and I will be using this, and I just have to find the CPU connector. Oh, by the way, I installed this one, so it's always on because there is no way to plug this in. Yeah, so I just installed this header. It's always on thing to connecting, basically bridging the 2 pins, so it's always on. So the CPU here, this one. So I am going to use half of the CPU power. So wish me luck. If you see fireworks, don't worry, it's on the camera. So, okay, for now, I don't know. Let's not connect anything, right? And see how it does, right? Yeah, I will just connect the mouse and keyboard and nothing else. So let's push this away a little bit. Put this in here. I am going to plug everything. I will be right back. Okay, everything is connected, as you can see. So I just want to see if it causes fireworks or if it is going to turn on. So yeah, don't worry about it. I have another backup. So if this fails, I will use the new one, the other one. Otherwise, I'll probably return it. So I just connected a USB extension, whatever. And then there's the RAM and CPU, everything is installed. Power supply is installed. Let's connect the HDMI as well. Oops. Okay, HDMI is also connected. So let's start the computer. Woo! That was the beep from the motherboard. Nothing on the screen yet. No fireworks. Oh, it turned on. Okay, so far so good. Feiteng and some Chinese character. I assume that's Feiteng in Chinese. I don't know. It's not hot. It's good. Everything looks fine, but it's taking a long time. Well, anyway, let's see what happened. Okay, F2 to enter boot menu, delete to go to BIOS. I passed that. Okay, I guess we have to do it again, sorry. So let's do a delete, go to BIOS. That was delete, right? I just want to see the BIOS. Wow, it takes a long time to get to that point. Come on, buddy, you can do it. What was that? I'm not a fast reader. F8 to enter setup, okay. F8, guys. Wow, that's slow. Okay. Phytium BIOS setup. You know what's interesting? That BIOS chip, I think it's underneath that. I'm gonna dump it and I'm gonna see what is in it. But yeah, this is a custom BIOS. It's really Phytium BIOS, I guess. I don't know. It doesn't look like any other thing. BIOS Git version, which is G. Very telling. And date and time is incorrect. Oh, sorry, that's the build time. Okay, that's fine. X100 SE version. This and baseboard and all that. Speed is 2000. I've been told that that's going to be, let me bring that up, right? What does it say? It was saying 2.3. Yeah, 2.3. So can I change that? Tab, right? Enter. No. And also I showed you that Indian chip, that one was 2.1 gigahertz clock cycle thing, right? Clock chip. So I don't know, they are saying 2.3 here. That says 2000 in there, and that Indian chip is 2.1. So far, that's what the observation. The speed of the memory is 2400. Does that match? There is no speed, the RAM speed here, but we're gonna check that. Anyway, boot maintenance manager. What is that? Boot options, add boot option, file explorer. What? I don't know. What happened? Okay, don't give me a heart attack. Just go back one level. Okay, one more. All right, advanced features. Oh, and verb table select, enable GMAC0. I don't know what those are. UART redirection, okay. And open T. I have no clue. There's no manual, nothing, so I will check that later. Advanced config, USB device info, date and time, PCIe. What? All right, let's me change these? No, okay, I guess, all right. HDD info, there's no HDD, so I am going to install something now. X100 config, which I assume, okay, that's the USB, SATA. Okay, I'm going to try one of these disks and try to install first. I'm going to try to install Windows, and I think I need to get a Windows 10 ARM version because it's an ARM CPU. So let me do that. Let me turn it off. There is PCI config. What can I configure here? Okay, see the speed. I can change the, there's also split mode, I guess. Yeah, 2x8s. That's nice. Okay. And then the speed configuration, which is Gen 3, that's the max it supports. There's obviously no Gen 4, and that's what they have been claiming as well. So that's consistent. And the CPU config is okay. Nothing useful. I thought like maybe there's like a hyper threading or anything. Like, yeah, anyway. Okay. Let's hold off. I'm going to connect. And by the way, the fan is loud. I'm sorry if you can hear it in the microphone. I'm going to stay back a little bit so maybe you won't hear it much. But yeah, I'm going to turn it off and install a SATA drive and try to install Windows. I'll be right back. Okay, I have connected the hard drive and I'm going to install, connect this USB Windows 10 ARM edition. Let's just see what it does. Boot selection was some other key. Let me see. F2. Okay. Whoa. It actually detected the UEFI flash drive and also detected my Samsung drive. So let's boot with that. Wow. It's actually booting, I think. I don't know, let's see. Don't crash, please. There's no documentation or support. Can't do anything. Come on. Okay, I guess that's not working. Let me burn another ISO to this, another variant of Windows 10 ARM, and I will be right back. Okay, here is the situation. No matter what version of Windows 10 or 11 I downloaded from UUPDUM, it just does not run, does not work. And I found another SBC computer that was using Phytium CPU, and the thing was they were suggesting Kylin. As you may know, Kylin is the Ubuntu variant, but it's like Chinese. So they were suggesting that people should use Kylin with that. Well, I'm not doing that. So what we are doing is this. We are going to install Debian. Ubuntu also didn't work, weirdly enough. At least I just downloaded Ubuntu server ARM 64 ISO. Didn't work. And I think I could have figured out Ubuntu, but I just booted Debian ARM and it just worked. So no need to do anything. I am going to install Debian. That's the only operating system seems like that you can install on this computer. And same thing with other SPCs that we're using this Feiteng CPU. So sit back, let me install the Debian, and we take it from there. Okay, we are finally installing the Debian 12, and I'm installing it on this 4TB SSD Samsung 860 EVO. And yeah, so far so good. And graphical installer of Debian, by the way, it's working perfectly. I didn't make any modification. It's just the stock ISO from Debian itself. I downloaded the DVD version because, as you might have noticed, did not detect the Ethernet card. So I basically postponed that problem to later when I actually log into the operating system. Then I will check it. But for now, I just want to install something so I can boot into some operating system, and we'll figure out. I will try various cards, even if it's needed. I will try USB, Ethernet adapter, Wi-Fi adapter. I will connect this board somehow to internet. But first, let's install the operating system. Okay, seems like the installation completed, and I'm going to remove the USBs and reboot the computer. Oh, did it already reboot? Yeah, it rebooted. Okay, so take that off. Let's see if it straight just boots from the SSD. Not touching anything on the keyboard, not going to change the boot device or anything. I just want to see if it automatically boots. Oh yeah, it does. Awesome. Okay, let's boot to Debian 12 for the first time and see if we can get the Ethernet card working so I can actually connect it to the internet, start installing some packages, maybe do some benchmarking, maybe some gaming. Hold on, let's see if it boots. Well, it's a bit slow, to be honest. Yeah, but okay. All right. And GNOME desktop environment. Come on. Yay, I guess, finally. Okay, so we got it. It seems like Debian is running well here so far. And all done, start using. Okay, so if we go to the terminal, okay, it did not really detect any of the Ethernet cards. So I have to figure this out. This is a chip. I have actually the chip model and everything. I'm going to look for a driver for that, and hopefully I will figure out and install the driver for it so we can connect it to the internet. I will be right back. Okay, so before I go back to telling you how I'm going to solve the Ethernet driver issue, I think I need to install and compile and install Linux kernel's latest one, 6.7.4. I checked the source code in the kernel, and seems like this version has the commits merged for this particular chip. So that being said, while we are waiting for that, I was interested in figuring out the BIOS and dumping the BIOS code in this motherboard, and to maybe reverse engineer it a little bit and see what's going on in there. So in order to do that, as I was showing you in the other video, there is the BIOS chip. It's right underneath this heatsink. So on that note, let me show you. It was right here, right? So there was this chip right here, right? And what I did was basically I took it out of here and read what was being written on it, and I used this. I placed the chip very carefully in here, right? And I put it in this programmer. This one is XGCU, whatever. It doesn't matter. Any programmer would do it. So what we are going to do is we are going to take a look at this on this computer. Let me switch. So here, as you can see, I have this app. That's the programmer's app. And I have the chip selected, and I am going to try to read the chip, and it's reading. So that's the BIOS chip, and I was able to successfully read the ROM. So let me save that, and what I'm going to do is basically I'm going to open it up in a hex editor and take a look at it in there. So gm7-2602-02.bin, right? So we saved that. Okay, so let me open that up in a hex editor. So I will be right back. Okay, as you can see, I have the BIOS dump loaded in this hex editor, and we are going to take a look at it. So one thing that I noticed is that after 1.3 megabytes, this one, it just turns into FFFFs. So basically, yeah, nothing. So let me just go here. Yeah, so right around this point, which is offset 145,638. This is hexadecimal. So it's 1.3 megabyte-ish. So if I do this and select everything above this, and let me see. Yeah, so I'm going to search for FFFFFFFF, hex value, no, more FFs. So if we copy everything up to here and put it in a new file, and it's going to be trimmed. This is the BIOS, and you can see this stuff that's going on in here. There are just some strings for now. I haven't loaded in any reverse engineering tool, but you can tell that this is it, and this is the BIOS, and yeah, I was able to read it. So I will probably share this with you all. Let me know in the comment section if I should just share it publicly. But yeah, I have this BIOS dumped, and we are going to take a look at that. Okay, so to summarize, I try to compile kernel 6.7 because the Ethernet drivers has been committed to Linux kernel from that version on. Whatever I did, it didn't work. I tried to install Debian nightly. Installer crashes in the beginning. I tried Ubuntu. I tried everything. It just doesn't work. I could not get these Ethernet adapters to work. So let's skip that. We'll take a look at just the OS. So if we do a neofetch, you will see that this is the Debian and D2000, and yeah, everything else that we already knew about it. And this is the GPU. This is the X100 chip that's underneath, right? So this is the GPU X100, and this is the CPU D2000, and both are Chinese. And these two are the DDR RAMs for the GPU, and I was right, and I checked it later. So yeah, that's it. So if we do, let's say, a CPU benchmark, which is the sysbench with 16 threads, as you can see here, you see that it's scoring 15K. Not bad, not great, it's good. So 8-core CPU, and it's not hot, so yeah, it's doing well. That's the sysbench report. And if we do a VKmark benchmark, and let's see in here, you can see the duration. FPS frame is like 100 frames for the vertex testing, and this is the color one and one cube. So I'm just going to put this on the screen so you know what you're dealing with, but overall the GPU is extremely underwhelming. So let me show you. If we do an FF play with stats and the LG sample video that I have, yeah, so this is a 4K video, right? It's playing. As you can see, it's dropping frames left and right. You see, it's just constantly dropping frames. So yeah, all the stats are here. I'm just going to leave it on the screen for a bit, so just so you know. And if you ever wanted to do an encoding, let's say, and we wanted to do that, convert the MKV to MP4, you will see that's very, very, very underwhelming. And I don't know, after a couple frames, it just, yeah, it freezes very, very slow. So just leaving it there for a bit. Just want you to see it, see the speed. As you can see, the bit rate is what you see on the screen. So you can tell it's like processing 5 frames per second, and it's getting a little bit hot. Not too hot, but I can tell it's getting hot. So I just wanted to show you the encoding, the FF play, the CPU benchmark, and there are not many benchmarks that you can run on an ARM machine. So yeah, long story short, I dumped the BIOS, got the Debian working somehow. The Ethernet is not working. You have to install the 6.7 kernel plus, and when you attempt to do that, it usually just hangs hangs in the installer if you install the Debian testing, for instance. I'm not going to try the Chinese distros. As far as I can tell, it doesn't have the ARM64 release, so I don't even think that's an option. So it's basically this, and I got as much as I can to work. One last thing that I'm going to try is the PCI port. I'm going to try, it's going to look ugly. I just want to try and see if it works. I'm going to try some GPU that I can find around here. I have 1080, 2060. I just want to see if it works. That's all. So give me a couple minutes. I'm going to shut it down, install the GPU, which is going to be this one, right? I have this one, 2060 Zotac Gaming, right? I'm just going to try it and see how it goes, and we take it from there. Okay, so I finally got it working. Please don't judge. I know it looks very, very awkward, but that's the way I could set it up easily, quickly, because the PCIe slot is this way. So I had to deal with the Novu kernel driver and disabling and updating init-ramfs, and then installing the NVIDIA ARM driver for this to work. It took me through some stuff I had to do, but anyway, here's, as you can see, I got it working. And as you can see, the cable, HDMI cable, is now connected to the GPU, not to the one in the motherboard. And that also made the audio working again, because with the onboard one, audio was not working. So audio is working, and NVIDIA driver is installed. And if we do the same test again, right, with the same video, yeah, obviously, as you can see, there is no dropped frames, and it's playing it beautifully with absolutely no problem whatsoever. So now this is more like a gaming PC, which is fair, because when you buy a motherboard, you do the same. You install a graphics card, CPU, and everything. So it is very, very hard to get things working software-wise. It's the only operating system that I could barely get it to work was the Debian 12, and with the kernel 6.1.7, I think. Let's see that. Yeah, uname 6.1.0-17. So I barely got this version working. You try to upgrade the kernel, it breaks the operating system. Whatever you try to do, it just makes the system, unbootable. The only time I could get it all to work is with this setup, with this configuration. NVIDIA driver, that also took some trying to get it to work. But overall, now it looks more like a gaming PC, if you want to call it that. As you know, this is an ARM computer, ARM CPU, so you need to install ARM compatible software on it. So out of box Steam doesn't work. We don't have to repeat the benchmarks, because that's going to be just benchmarks of a 2060. I can install a separate card. PCIe 3 slot works perfectly. I just wanted to see that. So yeah, let me know what you think. Let me know what you want me to do with this next. I think I'm going to focus on the reverse engineering of the BIOS file for a bit. If you want the sample, if you want a copy, let me know in the comments. I will share that with you as well. And yeah, let me know what you think. This is the end of the video for this Chinese motherboard. I will keep exploring. If I find some more interesting stuff, I will make another video. Thanks for watching. I will see you on the next video. Bye for now.